A coworker of mine had broken down and bought the pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, and he had to share it with me, and it was so damn good that it inspired this makeup look for today. I'm going to be keeping the latte base with matte shadows and then just sprinkle in a little bit of sugar and spice. So let's get started. So even though it is getting colder, okay, and I am starting with my eye primer, my Milani, just like I always do. Even though it is getting a little bit colder, it is such a cozy time of the year. With the holidays and drinks like the pumpkin spice latte, it really does feel like you're getting a hug from the inside. And today I am going to use my Beauty Glazed palette. And now I am just going to add a nice white base using this one here, which is a matte. I'm going to be going in with this one and this one, but I kind of need to build it up a little bit. So I'm going to go in with a little bit lighter of a color right here, these two here. That one and that one. And this is always such a fun time of the year where we just had our Halloween party a little bit ago, and it was a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun dressing up and then having some good food. My husband actually smoked a turkey, and it turned out really, really well. And so now I am going to go in with this color here and maybe darken it up to that. And yes, my buddy at work, he had heard about the pumpkin spice latte, and it inspired him to go and get one, and he wanted to share it with us, and I need the extra calories of a pumpkin latte like I need another hole in my head. So I really didn't want to because I knew I was going to love it, but he talked me into it, and at least something good came out of it. It inspired me to come up with this look. Now this is going to be the creases where I'm going to have more of the coffee part of it. Now I'm going to go into this one here. And I really do like, I'm liking orange more and more. So this was a really fun take on adding that little pop of color. You can do it with any color. Like I say, when you've got a neutral base like the latte makeup look, you can then add just that splash of color. And I will show you how I'm doing it with this eye look. I am going to keep the front part of the lid light, and then I'm going to add the oranges on out. So what I'm going to go in with is this lighter one here, and start bringing in a little bit more of the vivid orange here. And I do like to use my fingers. They seem to apply best there. So I'm just going to start kind of halfway right there. And then go in with a little bit more of an orange. And I am going in with this one here and then that. Just to add the intensity, because that first orange is very, very light. just kind of blend them together. And then what I am going to do is go in with this one here at the very edge. And I do take the darkest one up just into the crease a little bit right there. Not going too far, just kind of keeping it right on that outer edge. And then I'll go back with the bigger brush that I had started with and just make sure that everything's blended out nice and smooth. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is here's a matte, but here's one with a little bit of shimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and add that one right here. Kind of where I'd put the lightest orange, a little bit on top and then slightly to inward. So that way it adds a nice bright spotlight. That's the little spice, the little sugar and spice that I add to this look. And I'm going to add a little bit more to the inner corner and the right under here a little bit later. So then what I do is I just go ahead with a black eyeshadow to do my eyeliner. And I've always kind of just done, you know, right about halfway and then on out. And then on straight up towards, well, not straight up, but straight to the tail of my eyebrow. Flick. Then I am going to use a liquid liner, a brown, and just get very, very, very close to that inner corner and then on up to meet. And then I might do a little bit of definition on the wing. And then I am going to use my very, very micro thin Elp eyebrow brush and just fill in the brows. And I like to stay more on the top part and try to almost go as straight as possible. Fill in more along the top and then go out. I know it's not straight, but it feels like you're going just pulling out as straight as possible. All right, I am gonna go and do my lashes and I will be right back. All right, so now let me go ahead and get to my under eye concealer, which is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I just add a few touches here. And then I've really been enjoying the double-ended e.l.f. What is it? Complexion Duo brush. So I take the small end and just pat this into place. It is very, very brightening as well. I got a color that was a little on the lighter side, and that way you kind of kill two birds with one stone. And then I go in with my finger just to finish. And then I am going to use my Renewed Hope in a Jar Skin Tint. And what I like to do is just get a little bit on the lid and then evenly distribute it on my brush. And I kind of start from the center of my face and along here where I feel like I have more of the sunspots and discoloration and everything else. And just kind of blend on out. And then I go in with a damp sponge and just really make sure everything's blended and smoothed out. Okay. One thing that I have been using more, I use the L'Oreal Hydra Perfect powder, but I've been using a little puff, and I kind of feel like it really gives it a very, very blurred airbrush look. So I will be doing that all over my face. Now, just for under my eyes, I'll take a brush like this, a full fluffy brush, and just go in there, pat it in there, and then brush it away. There we go. But for the rest of my face, I take this little guy and kind of bend it, you know, make a little taco shape, and then get it all over. And I'm very liberal with it. I wouldn't consider this baking. I don't let it just sit there, but it does feel like I get a little bit more on than just using a brush alone. Right. And I keep my powder because at the end of doing all of my other, you know, the highlighter and bronzer and everything, I might go in, do a little bit of cleanup and add a little bit more powder. But my tested, tried and true butter bronzer, I open it up and there's that little whiff of coconut smell. And I start here and then just kind of drag it into the center. Because it is really a bummer when you have too much on and then you right in the center there. Because it kind of is harder to remove then. I add it there. Then what I do is also give myself a nice defined jawline. And all under here, going down a little bit, blending it out, getting up, defining this angle right here. And what I've really been trying to do is really hug that cheekbone. Um, and trying to stay a little bit on the higher side where I can feel the cheekbone and I'm kind of just cupping it right under it. But higher because it does actually lift your face a little bit more. And just right along here. And then I have really been sticking with this technique to shape my nose. So I will add it right where it's the most bulbous. I'll do both sides since I have plenty on my brush. Like right there, okay? And then I just start sweeping it up and down. And then with my finger and even my sponge, I'll go in and just, again, blend the edges a little bit. There we go. There. All right, now what I'm going to do is take my Rare Beauty blush, and I love this little guy. So cute. And here I just aim right for there and then pat in both directions just a little bit. Right on top of my contour slash bronzer. Right, and then I am taking my Becca highlighter. This is a new purchase, as well as a new fan brush because my old one was starting to shed too much. So, and then I just touch it here, here, and a little down my nose. Okay, now what I do is I go back to my foundation brush and just, if I started getting a little bit out of where I was aiming for, I kind of clean it up a little bit. And one thing, I have really bad eyesight, so I kind of have to go in and look and see if maybe one side has a little bit more color than the other. But what I'll do is I'll clean this up, take another brush that's clean but bigger, and just kind of really blend everything back. And here is then where I may add a little bit more powder. And I do use a brush here rather than the puff, just for this area. Now, it does look to me like this side might need a little bit more blush. So here I might then just do a little bit more of a touch-up right there. Maybe a little here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go back in using the Becca highlighter and add a little bit of sparkle right in there, right in the corner there, right at the very tippy top. There we go. And then with my Control Freak, I am going to go ahead and just put my set my eyebrows in place, just brushing them straight up, making them look a little thicker. Okay, and then for the under eye, I'm actually going to use this color here, and maybe a touch of this one here. There we go. Just put it like that. And one thing I have been doing, because generally I try to keep my under eyes very, very light because they close in a little too much for my liking. But one thing that I have been doing, so you can take a black or a dark brown or whatever, and I just barely touch right in at the edge here, like I've always done. But I also have been just tapping like right where my iris is, right there, just a touch. And this gives it a little bit more drama. And it's broken up so that it doesn't close up my eye as much. Okay. And then what I'll do is take my copper, it's a glittery copper Sephora eyeliner, which I've already bought another one because I love these. And this adds reflective light, so it really also helps break that up. So I just kind of get this on the waterline and even between where I did the black. And it adds that lightness. Yet my under eyes are very, very defined still, so. All right, so I am gonna stick with the latte theme for my lips. And I am using my Super Stay 24 Hour. This one, I'll have it linked below. Can't even see what the name of it is, but it's a very, very light nude. And I just go over everything with that. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to be taking a brown, and it's a relatively dark brown liner. And this is, brings me back because this was a look more in the 90s. And I tap it and blend it because you don't want it too, you want to define, but you don't want it too defining. Actually, I hope I'm in view. And I haven't worn my lips like this in so long, and then I started doing it, and I'm like, yeah, I like it. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I kind of avoid the corners. I really don't line those as much. Okay. And you can keep it like that and then just add a clear gloss over it. I'm going to stick with the pumpkin theme, and I'm going to be adding my e.l.f. I think this is Love Bites. I've had it, but it's got this bronzy, orangey glitter. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please, again, like, subscribe, share this video with anybody that you think might appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day.